Hi, Kyla. Hi, Isabella.
Hi.
All right, so you guys are doing some yoga with me today, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna share with you a little bit about what this is going to look like, but then I want you guys to get a few things ready to rock and roll here too, and I'm going to have some more people joining us. So I'm going to talk with you guys first here virtually before I talk to the kids that are coming here on site. So this is my yoga mat. I'm going to be doing our yoga class through here, and you're going to be able to see the whole class. You're going to be able to see me, hear me, see the friends that are coming to join us. They're going to start setting up soon. And all you need really is your body and a beach towel or a yoga mat if you have it. And you might just want to listen and watch and just see if yoga is something that's interesting to you. But some of you might want to hop along too. That's totally fine. The thing to know about yoga is that it's not a practice that you're ever going to get done practicing. It's never going to be a perfect. It's always going to be a practice. And so if I were you, I would put your mats the long way here, and I'll be sitting like this. Yes, perfect. Yeah. I'll be sitting like this, and so you will just mirror how I do what the moves that I do over here. Okay, I'm gonna move this up just a little bit so you can hear me a little bit better. All right, you guys can, yep, you can grab your mats. You can put them out just like that. And Zakila, we are going to wait for a few more folks before I talk with you about what I have in my hand here.
Okay.
How are you doing today, hun?
Good. You?
I'm doing well, but my brain needs some yoga. I've had a little bit of a foggy brain today. All right. He's here. Oh, I'm so excited. A lot of them did. Isabella is coming. We have Zakila here, and Colton wants to get on here. But I haven't seen Colton yet. Let me see. I have two colors just like that. This is my favorite color. I look like. All right, guys, we're gonna get started in just a second. You're scared to do that. All right. So we are going to get started with our first yoga class of the year. I'm so excited that you guys are here. We do have a couple of minutes, and I know some high schoolers are going to come and join us. And we've got some folks who are joining us virtually as well. And today we are going to talk about this thing called self-care, okay? And I have this phrase here. Oh, Deb is here, and Susie is here. Hi, guys. Hi, boys.
I was forced to come here.
Forced. It's a good thing, I promise. Grab a mat. Yep, take off your socks and shoes. So, I teach yoga to kids, adults, and young adults like you guys. And the focus for the young adults and adults is usually this idea of taking care of yourself, okay? If you're one of my students, you know that I talk about brain breaks all the time, and yoga has the potential to be one of those brain breaks for you, okay? But today what I want to talk about is how do you know when you need a brain break, right? Like how do you know when you need to take care of yourself? So as we go through some of these poses, I want you to just keep that in mind. And at the end of class, I'm going to give you something to take home that is going to help you finish this sentence for yourself. I need a brain break when, or I know I need some self-care when, okay? So before we get started with anything, we're going to kind of get our brains ready for it because I am going to have you do some funky things today. And the end in mind for that is to just push you out of your comfort zone a little bit, okay? But the biggest, exactly, the biggest thing about yoga, hang on, we've got some virtual folks joining us. Austin, welcome, dude. The biggest thing about yoga is that it's not about anyone else but you, okay? When you're here, you don't need to be anywhere else but on this large, cushy rectangle that you're sitting on. Deb is not going to be watching Mr. Ryan. Mr. Ryan is not going to be watching Ashley because we are going to just focus on us, okay? And we're not used to that in our world. We're always used to like focusing on all these other people. What's everyone doing? Let me check Instagram. None of that today. None of that during this spot, okay? So we're going to just focus in on us by really shutting the rest of the world off around us. So however you're naturally sitting right now, I want you to change the other way. And that alone might push you out of your comfort zone. It just feels a little weird, right? And I want you to really find that base. So you might have to like pull your legs up and like, you know, wiggle your booty down to really make sure that your sits bones or your butt bones are in the ground here. And for some of us, posture is just not something that we think about. So we tend to like melt during the day. And then by the time you're 20, this is just how you're going to sit. So we're going to end that today, okay? You're going to have energy shooting up through your chest. Shoulders are back. I want you to have space in between those earlobes and your shoulders. Your abdominal muscles are engaged here. There you go, Austin. Very, very nice. Nice work. For some of you that struggle with posture, it might be helpful to hold on to those knees and like kind of push against your knees and like pull your, push your sternum towards me. Now I'm gonna ask you to do something that just might make you feel uncomfortable because we're at school with people that maybe we don't know, but I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes, okay? Just close your eyes. Don't think about what you look like. Don't think about anyone around you, what they're doing, what you should be doing, what they should be doing. And just pay attention to your breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. I want you to inhale as deep as you possibly can. And I want you to pretend to like visualize that breath just going into all the different parts, nooks and crannies of your body. Where does that oxygen travel? Maybe just maybe if you're ready for it, just take a second to like just be thankful for the fact that you get to do what you just did. And yes, I mean inhale and exhale, but for real, like we take that for granted, right? Our body just does that naturally. And if it didn't, we would be in a very different state than what we are in right now. So many people think that taking care of yourself is selfish or a waste of time, or maybe just maybe you've heard, I can't exercise or I can't check out, I'm too busy. And when you say that out loud, it kind of sounds funny, doesn't it? Like you're too busy to take care of this body that keeps you alive every day. taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is an investment into yourself. And that's what we're going to do here today. Keep that breath going. Keep that posture working. Bring that chin to your chest. Stretch out that back neck, maintaining that posture. Keeping your eyes closed. Roll the head around so the left ear goes to the left shoulder and it goes around so the right ear goes to the right shoulder. And when you feel ready, switch to the other side. Show that neck some love. Come on back to the center. Open your eyes. And let's get started. So we're going to get started here standing. And I just want to be very transparent that some of you are going to do yoga for self-care and it's just not going to be your thing. And that's okay because you're trying it. Everyone has a thing for self-care, something that fits them. For my husband, it's running like a maniac. I don't get it, but I respect it. And so even if you don't find your thing today, I hope it inspires you to figure out something that helps. Did you just hear that? I just want to try something new today. Grab a mat, and then you can go anywhere you want and have it be parallel to mine. Okay, so can you guys hear me online okay? Are you good? Sweet, we've got 3 people here online. Say that again.
I love how there's just online.
I know, I love it. It's like my dream coming true right now. So we're going to start by just standing up. And I know this might sound simplistic, but when I say standing up, I mean like standing up the yoga way. This is actually a yoga pose. It's called Tadasana or mountain pose. And so many of us, I know myself included, I stand like this. I actually stand like this. Terrible. I can't believe I'm admitting that to you guys. Or some, you know, I don't know. I really like no walk. Your body is not meant to be held up that way. Your body is meant to be in a line with itself so that your organs work the way they're supposed to, your blood flows the way it's supposed to, okay? So Tadasana is actually a pretty powerful pose here. And what I want you to do is just look down at your feet. You might not have looked at your feet in a while, or ever. Some of you, I might not want to look at your feet, but you can just do you right here, okay? And I want you to bring your toes up off of the mat. When you do that, you should feel these 4 corners of your feet kind of like just grounding, energized through the ground here. I'm going to call those the 4 corners of your feet. And when we can distribute our weight evenly in those 4 corners, that's when our body is aligned. Do you feel that? When your ankles are in line with your hips are in line with your shoulders, like you should feel like strong here, okay? And now we're going to play the piano with our toes to really kind of stretch out the in between the toes, these like little webs that don't get a lot of oxygen. And so with our toes lifted, we're going to slowly bring down 1 toe at a time. And it truly is going to feel like a foot massage here, okay? So let's go slow and steady wins the race. Pinky toe down, ring toe, I don't really know what it's called, middle toe, pointer toe, and big toe. Do you feel that space lengthen there? It's hard, isn't it?
I can't do it. I just won't back right now.
It's like you're looking and you're like, move. And it takes practice. I promise you it takes practice. So any standing pose that we do, you can come back here. Feel this power, this strength, okay? But now we're gonna move. Are you ready? Fingertips together, jump those feet out wide. I'm a stickler for alignment. So the outside of your foot, okay, should be parallel to that outside of your mat here. So you might feel a little bit pigeon-toed. That's okay. That's totally natural. And while you're here, Find those fours. Some of you are gonna wanna like do weird things with the four corners and only be on two. Don't, this is weird, right? This just looks awkward. Push those four corners of your feet down. Our toes are gonna turn out to the side here. That front heel is now aligned with that back arch. There you go, hands come out. And we're gonna bend that front knee into a warrior two position. When I'm in this pose, I just feel, you know, like a warrior, like you're just strong, like superhero status. And your hips are gonna wanna turn toward that knee. We're not gonna do that yet. I want your hips to really be facing me, so you feel that tension in your inner thighs here. Good job, Austin. Good job, Zakayla. Now this is the fun part. You're gonna flip that front hand up toward the ceiling, and you're gonna cartwheel those arms back and reverse. Feel that right side, or excuse me, it's your left side, isn't it? Stretching. And now we're gonna cartwheel those arms back down and catch ourselves on our bent knee for a side angle stretch. Energy from the outside ankle all the way up. Coming on back to warrior two. Hold that strong pose here. It's okay if you're a little shaky. I always say in my yoga classes, farting and falling is fine. So it's okay if you do any of those things. Straighten your legs, turn those toes in, and let's go to the other side. If your arms start to like melt because they're working too hard, just flip your palms up, okay? It releases some of that tension. Check your hips. I want them looking at me. Bend now that opposite leg. Stay strong here. Don't hold your breath. That's where you will fall over, I promise. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, flip the opposite palm. Dive backwards into a reverse. Don't hold your breath. Inhale. Cartwheel those arms over, side angle stretch on the other side. If your neck allows you to look up to the ceiling, go ahead and do so. You should feel that great stretch on that bent inner thigh. Come on back to warrior two. Straighten both legs. Turn both feet towards me now. Hands on our hips. Can we stretch that out, please? I want you to pretend that I have a rope attached to your chest, and I'm like pulling you towards me, okay? This is called flat back. So when I am pulling that rope towards you, you're gonna just really focus on that energy through the chest and keeping that posture that we talked about going, okay? This is not flat back. You might not be able to get to this, but you can work towards it. My goal, guys, like I said, how did I do it? This is not flat back, right, Austin and Zakayla? You see that? My goal is to like be able to have a picnic on your back someday, a little peanut butter sandwich and some lemonade or something, okay? The backs of your thighs should be like, oh, hi there. Oh, hi there. And then you may need to bend your knees to get those fingertips on the ground, or you may need to take that stance a little bit wider to get those fingertips on the ground. Notice with my fingertips on the ground, I'm still maintaining that energy through my chest, okay? If you need to bend those knees and then straighten the legs, go ahead and do that. Good job, Austin. And if your fingertips are on the ground and you want to choose to relax in this pose, you may take that flat back down and relax. If your head comes to the ground, please make sure that the forehead isn't what's resting on the ground, but instead the crown of your head, like the tippy top of your head, where if your spine was extended, it would go right through the top of your head. Fingertips back to the ground. Walk those feet in just a little bit. We're gonna take it to like a sumo. Don't you feel like a sumo in this position? A sumo squat here. Some of you are gonna be able to stay up here and this is gonna feel fine. For me, I have a different sense of flexibility, so I don't really feel this stretch. I really need to go down into a full frog pose, okay? So when you're up, it's called God or Goddess pose, and when you're down, this is a frog pose. Breathe into anything that makes you feel a little uncomfortable here. And when you're ready, fingertips can come behind you, and we will meet in a cross-legged position. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together here. A lot of people think butterfly is, yes, where you flap this way. Not in yoga, okay? I'll teach you how to do that in just a second. I'm going to kind of stay on an angle here, guys, okay? So you can see my back. The cool part about yoga is that it's always trying to keep you in balance. Front body and back body, right side, left side, mind, body, soul. All of that is working to be in balance. So when you're here, your abdominal muscles should be engaged, like where your six pack might be. And it's long gone, but I mean where it could be. That energy through that chest that we were just talking about. Now we're going to transition from butterfly to big butterfly. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't think about it too much. Promise?
Yeah.
Okay. Lift those feet. Keeping them together. Lift the feet up. So this is where the whole farting and falling is fine thing comes into play, right? Then when you're ready, you can take your first two fingers, hold your big toes, and now you can choose to flap. One wing at a time, both wings at a time, whatever. And when you're ready, tuck your chin and give yourself a back massage. By rolling back and up. Back and up. Like I said, don't take yourself too seriously. Meet me back in seated Tadasana or L pose. Move the flesh away from the hip bones here again to find those sits bones. And I want your toes to be straight up to the ceiling here, okay? Now this is where you're going to check in with you. What does your body need? Some of you who are sitting like this, zip that spine up, fingertips to the ground, and I want you to just go for a walk. I want you to walk those fingertips as far as you can until you can't walk them anymore. Once you get them to where you're stopped, stay there. Hold on to the outside of your leg, your shin, your ankles, behind your feet. And I'm going to pass around something to some of you that I want you to think about, like an extension of your hands in our belts that can wrap right around your feet. They can wrap right around your feet. So you can still get that stretch of your feet, but then not have to reach your feet if you don't want to. Does that make sense? Sure. I have one more. Does anyone want one? You want to try one? Okay, so those of you who don't have one, we're still holding on, we're still engaging. Slowly walk yourself back up here. And I want you to take your right foot to the inner thigh. So it's like you're making a 4. If you have a belt, grab that belt around the left leg that's still there. If you do not, take that right hand and try to grab that inside the opposite hand. There you go. Yeah. So you're getting this cross of the midline here, and I want you to go down as far as you can. Now this is going to be weird, but hold on to your left foot, and I want you to bring it up and over so that like your knees are stacked on top of one another. Yeah, so this is going to be weird. You're going to have to like move stuff around and like wiggle around. So your left heel wants to go towards the right hip. It's going to look like I'm going to tie you in a knot right now, okay? That's okay. And your right heel is going to go towards your left hip. Whatever knee is on top, the opposite arm is going to go up. You're going to give yourself a nice little pat on the back. Yay, good job. You're in a knot. Now the arm that is not up is going to come down and around. Let me turn around like this. Some of you might be able to grab your fingertips. Others of you, if you have that belt, can take the belt and feel that same tension, that same resistance. Some of you are going to be able to do it on one side and you're not going to be able to do it on another side just because of how our body is aligned. I have to remember. This is called cow pose. I don't know why. I don't feel like a cow in here. But what I want you to pay specific attention to is the shoulder that has the arm going down. Do you feel that tiny little spot, the rotator, the start of the rotator cuff? So much tension and stress sits right there. Like when I do this, I feel like I'm like getting a massage right now. Now this is where it's weird. Unhook your fingers and just like melt yourself down. There you go. Nice. Good job. Good job, guys. Unwind your knotted legs back into L pose. Okay. Now we just brought the right foot in to make the 4. This time we're going to bring the left foot to the inner thigh. And your body's going to want to turn like in this way, and I want you to work to kind of have your foot be on that midline, so your shoulders are framing that leg. Does that make sense? So again, engage the abs. Those of you who do not have a strap, that left hand is going to come around to reach. If you do have a strap, yep, hook it and hold. I'm making you think that you're working your legs right now, which you are, don't get me wrong. But you're really working this left hip to open up here. You should be able to feel that. Good job, Austin. You're amazing. Good job, Zakayla. Nice work. Slowly walk yourself back up. Holding on to that right foot, let's do the opposite. Again, notice your sides. Some of you, this is my hard side because I'm right-handed, so I put more weight on my right side. My right hip is always more tender than my left, but I also have less flexibility here. So, and you'll see that in a second, my right knee is on top of my left knee, which means that my left arm now this time is going to be the one that starts giving myself a pat on the back. And now my right arm is going to come down and around. Now you saw what my other stretch looked like. This is what this side looks like. Isn't that crazy? Wait. This one is very hard for me, but that's because I have a shoulder injury right here. I tore my rotator cuff when I was a swimmer in high school. So this spot right here is like, hello, sailor. Hello, sailor. Don't hold your breath. Breathe here. Slowly unwind and sit the long way on your mat. I want you to bring your feet towards the buttocks. Lift your hands up. Slowly roll yourself down. Slow, slow, slow. And once you get down to the ground, bring those heels even a little bit closer to your booty, okay? I want you to take those hip points and lift them straight up to the sky, engaging your abdominal muscles and walking those shoulder blades underneath you. Don't look side to side here, look straight up. We're gonna stay here for 2 breaths. Here's 1. 2. Now we are going to roll down vertebra by vertebra, letting our shoulders slowly work away from one another. And I want you to feel that space in between every vertebra open up, like you're getting a little back massage. Bring the knees in towards the chest and roll side to side. From here, we're going to extend those feet just like we did in L pose, just like we did in Tadasana. I don't have wet noodles here. They're boom, Tadasana legs. This is called legs up the wall. Our feet are flexed, toes towards our nose. And for some of you, this is going to be hard enough. For others of you, I don't want you to think too hard about it, okay? I want you to grab either side of your mat, and I want you to bring your toes up behind your head, okay? Let them rest on the ground. Don't think too hard about it, just try. Stretch out that lower spine. You can even put your hands on your lower back. Breathe. And slowly roll yourself down. Once you get here, let your arms splay out to the side, your legs splay out to the side, and close your eyes. No more talking, no more work, just rest. The final pose of our practice is called Shavasana. And in Shavasana, I want you to keep your eyes closed. I don't want you to think about anyone else or anything else. You're just lying there, okay? Your eyes are closed, lying down on your mat. Shavasana is the time for you to check in with yourself. It's a time to give yourself rest without being asleep. I asked you guys to think about this idea of self-care, taking care of you when you got here. And this week, I want to challenge you to continue thinking about that. When you need to take care of yourself is usually when something triggers stress in your life. And stress can come from a lot of different places. When the connection that you have to yourself is hindered, it usually triggers stress. When you forget to eat, when you're not sleeping well, when you haven't checked in, when your creativity is hindered, you're not doing that thing that you love, whether it's yoga or soccer or reading or whatever, that's usually a trigger for stress. When your best self is hindered, that's usually a trigger for stress. So this week, I want to challenge you to search for what triggers for stress are in your life. Is it a person? Is it a situation? Is it a TV show? Is it a schedule? Is it inner talk? How you talk to yourself? What is a stress trigger for you? No work is needed here. Hands splay out to the side. Relax that forehead. Keep that relaxation going down your face. Unhinge your top jaw and your bottom jaw from one another, but maintain your lips closed. Visualize that you're floating on a cloud, like you're weightless. Relax your hips, your legs, your ankles. Feel what it feels like to find rest. You deserve it, and we all need it. Slowly begin to increase your inhalations and exhalations. Wiggle those fingers and toes. While keeping your eyes closed, slowly push yourself up into a seated position. Meet me right where we started on the mat. Hands come to heart center, and I want you to check in with you. When do you need self-care? When do you need to take a break and invest in you? Your job this week is to think about those things, and we're going to build on this next week. We end our practice together by bowing our heads if you feel comfortable and saying namaste. Namaste. All right, next week we will continue. So I have a challenge for you. This phrase here, I need some self-care when. I have a note card for you guys, and I want to encourage you to take this and finish that sentence for you. When do you need self-care? I need self-care when my mom and dad start fighting. I need self-care when I stop sleeping. I need self-care when I only think about my to-do list, not the people around me. When do you need self-care? I want to challenge you to do this week and bring it back next week, because we're going to talk about, now what do we do with that? What do we do with self-care then? If we know where our stress triggers are, what can we do? Okay? Sound good? If you borrowed a mat from me, you can go ahead and roll it up, put it in the wagon. Belts can go in the namaste bag, and I've got your note cards here for you to fill out. If you have any questions about anything that we did today, self-care, your assignment for this week, take a card, finish the sentence, and bring it back next week. Next week, same time, same place, but we're building on what we did today, okay? You'll be in California. You can come in virtually just like Austin did if you want. All right, Austin, Zakila, thank you so much for joining us. How you feeling? All right, dude, same time, same place next week, okay? All right, adios, guys. See you later, Zakila.
Bye. See you later.